I
Welcome
have
to the
something.
Zenless Zone Zero podcast, starring me and Zero. Oh shit, this is gonna get confusing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Patient might be getting here. I don't know. At some point,
I
hopefully.
tagged him.
But this podcast is gonna open with talking about Zenless Zone Zero, and I don't want to put him through that if he doesn't want to. Like, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't care. So,
So, where are you at on Zenless
I have
Zone?
finished the undercover side episode.
Oh, wow. That's pretty far in then.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to get to the current event and do that, and that requires beating Chapter 4, which I have unlocked, but don't want to do because the Battle Pass thing has something for finishing that, and I
Mm.
have maxed out the points on the Battle Pass for this
If
week.
it if it is a so if it's not a daily or weekly thing, if it's an event long thing, it'll go over the limit. So it's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Yeah, it ignores the limit for those ones. So it's actually better to do it once you've already maxed them.
You shouldn't tell me things like that. Like, I, yeah, you say pretty far. Yeah, I started on like Monday,
Yeah.
and have no life to this game. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I hit such a massive roadblock of like just complete burnout and hadn't realized it that this came along and literally anything other than writing. Oh, hey, this is a thing other than writing. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's pretty good. So that kind of took over everything for several days, and I
It is.
may have done some not great things to my constitution. Frankly, ate less, drank less. May have an eyesore from staring at my fucking monitor near on blinking for a long time.
So, is it fun?
It is. I was confused about something you said last week. In that they want to get rid of the TV exploration thing.
Well, not really get rid of it so much as make it so that in the main story you are interacting mostly through the world
Hmm.
instead of having a lot of the main story broken up by long TV sections.
Yeah, it was weird to me because that stuff is kind of fun.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
I mean, it's a little annoying in how it's handled. Like
Yes.
not for just the actual mechanics of how it works. That stuff's really cool in the exploration and stuff, and dealing with the
Bear in
interesting new
mind,
mechanics that they add to it, like the stuff in the ballet twins where it's all in the dark and you've got to
yeah,
navigate around enemies you can't see until they're right next to you. That's all cool stuff. I really enjoy that.
the recent update actually made a lot of the animations in TV mode faster. So the
That
experience that you're
would
having
explain
is
why then,
yes.
because that is the big gripe I still kind of have with it is how I'm not going to say slow, but arresting, is that the word? That might be a word for
Yes.
it. Like just sort of sudden jerking stop to not playing the game for a bit while the fucking AI exposits to you in a tiny dialogue box in the corner of the screen that you can barely see, by the way. Like, even on my fucking monitor, I don't even want to know what this is like on a fucking mobile device. But like, it does that, and hey, you've just got to sit there for a couple minutes while it runs through those dialogue boxes that you can't see. And then when it's done, you can go back to playing the game. That's annoying. And also, how most of those dialogue boxes are telling you, hey, you should go and do the thing that we literally just showed, like panning across the map to show you exactly what you need to do. And now we're also going
Yeah.
to tell you what you need to do. Now go do it. Oh, sorry. I was going to do this other thing that doesn't exist on the map right now. Like, the fuck else was I going to do?
The TV mode can be really, really fun at times, but also it can also destroy the pacing.
Yeah.
So it was a big thing that people complained about.
Yeah.
They actually sped up a lot of the animations and actually cut out some of the fluff. And that's the version that you're playing.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Because as it is now, Generally, I like it. It's still there's slightly little bits of annoyance in it, but generally, I like it. I like the abstraction of what's going on the map because it's stuff they're not going to have the budget to do cutscenes for, but having say a big boss enemy just ram straight through several brick walls at once, that paints a mind picture with very simple representations of it.
Mm.
And I appreciate that because we're not going to get a fucking cut. It doesn't matter if they do everything on the fucking map. We're not going to get a cutscene for everything like that. It's just not going to happen. The budget would skyrocket, and
Yeah.
they don't want to spend the money on that. I have seen
Mm.
it said that would just end up being a fade to black moment, and yeah, that's exactly what would happen. It would fade to black, and then there would be a big, loud crash explosion sound, and then it would fade back in, and it would just be debris and rubble, or the boss is just right fucking there.
Yeah.
That's all you get, and that's shitty in my opinion compared to doing things through the TV mode, frankly. So
I think they'll still keep some of the TV mode around, but they're gonna uh, they definitely want to like reduce it as much as possible and not rely on it going forward because you did the undercover episode, so you realize you went through that entire thing without really entering TV mode once.
yeah, and it felt about the same and wasn't more visually or ludically, I guess. It wasn't more engaging in any sense. It just was the same thing, only I'm moving around the character model instead of a fucking Bangbu avatar on the TV screens.
Yeah.
It's the same. So I don't know. That whole, obviously, again, like you said, I'm playing the improved version, and by the improved version, there's not much to complain about. There's bits, but generally, I think it's a really functional and worthwhile system that should be kept.
Yeah. From what I've played of the improved version, yeah, no, it's great. It's doesn't constantly pull me out of the experience, and it feels much smoother. But like at launch, the game had quite a few problems. There was like some performance stuff. There was some glitches and bugs. There was the slow TV mode. There was you couldn't make preset teams, so you had to individually pick your agents every single time.
Yeah, you still kind of have to do that outside of the Outpost Scott, I think it's called, stuff. Like the Shield
Uh,
Defense and the Hollow Zero and all that stuff. And the HIA Club. Those are places you can do it, but in like story stuff or the commissions at the computer, you can't do that.
yeah. So, thoughts on the actual writing of the game itself?
Oh, it's great. I hate every time they say sus, but aside from that, it's great.
Honestly, like it took me a while to get into it, but like by the time I'm getting through chapter 2, I was pretty hooked.
It took me no time at all. I loved the character. Like, Anby is just kind of your Ray like, and that's fine. I wasn't really into it, but I liked her more. Like, she grew on me, especially after you get to the trust stuff. The system unlocks and you can do stuff, and she is probably going to be the first one that I max out.
Yeah.
I instantly loved Billy. He's fucking great. I love that guy.
He's great. And in chapter 4 you get more of Billy, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that dude's cool. The Yeah, I mean, what was interesting to me was someone said when I said I was starting to play this was in terms of which protagonist they think Belle is the better protagonist. I'm not sure I agree. Because from what I've seen, Wise is the kind of humdrum guy. He's a little on the more straight laced side, ironically, compared to her, and very quiet and understated. And honestly, I think that works better as a protagonist because it means you get more of Belle talking.
Yes. I It's kind of interesting because obviously you've seen before, the game will make you switch from one to the other at certain points.
Um,
Or I don't know if you saw that, but when you're playing as Belle, there's a section where you it makes you play as Wise.
I
Um,
didn't see. I assume that's the bridge thing where she's going to get tapes and
yes,
things happen.
it make it makes you play as him
Oh, I
for that
didn't.
period of
I
time.
honestly thought it would have just switched the roles and you would have been going after him.
Nope. The thing that tells me is that you are playing technically as both. You just have a primary one
Hmm.
because both of them matter and have their distinct personalities and own things that they're good at. So I can see there being multiple story things in the future in which you will need to like hand off from one to the other.
Yeah, I mean, I like the writing. Belle is a fantastic character. Wise is a solid character for a protagonist because if you don't play as him, then he's very easily replaceable.
I
He's-
I I actually would disagree with that. I've been playing as Belle the entire time, and um, it's kind of funny to see a lot of like fairy dumping on Wise and Wise being the more like serious guy in the chair acting as backup for you. Um, I feel like there's a merit to each dynamic.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, like I said, I've only seen the one side. So yeah. The I did mention it in the Gacha Crap channel when I was getting to such moments, but who boy did they sibling dynamics are apparently very hard to write for people who don't have siblings.
See, when I read that, I was like, "Am I dumb? I didn't get that impression. I don't know why."
Going out to dinner is fine. Going on a long walk on the beach at sunset is maybe a little. That's I don't know. That feels a little odd for a sibling excuse. I did bring up the Persona 5 scene where you with Yusuke on the fucking boat on the river or the lake or wherever it is, and it's like this is a very romantic scenario. This feels weird for us to be doing, and then he sees a guy and a girl in another boat, and he's like, this is where we can find true romance. Look at these two. They're obviously so in love. And the guy's like, sis, I told you. This is so fucking weird. Couples do this, not siblings. It's so weird. And that's exactly the vibe that I get from the protagonists of Zenless Zone Zero is...
There's, I didn't get that vibe, but there's like an interesting wrinkle to their backstory that I think is worth considering. But you have not gone there yet. So
I appreciate that it does not go to the levels of complete toxic codependency, which it easily could have. But that whole thing where they're separated for a bit proves that that is not the case.
yeah, no, there's a certain like history between those two that only those two share and that nobody else can really like penetrate. Um, and it actually adds like a layer of mystery to your main characters because they talk about things vaguely or like they'll try like to not let Fairy know about something, and you're like, what are your secrets? What are you talking about?
I'm going to be
So
honest.
there's
I try whenever the fairy thing comes up, I always pick the dialogue option that is not immediately, "Hey, fairy, help and fix the problem for us," because that
yeah,
seems like a fucking Pandora's box of things. And
I'm rightfully sus of the AI.
yeah, just consistently, if ever it gives me an option that does not have the word fairy in it, I will pick it. So
I I like the various factions that you get to meet and the dynamics that they form with your proxies. Um, it's really fun.
I have done a bunch of the character missions. I was going to say one thing I would really like them to do is more of that undercover thing, but specifically in the sense of, hey, you get to play as one character for this mission, and Not like a story where we're gonna let you borrow this character so you can try them out for an extended period so you roll the fucking gotcha. I mean, you get one character. Prove you are cracked with this character. You get to choose which one it is, but that's your one. You don't get to do the fucking broken chain attack bullshit. You just have to be really, really good with this character. That would be cool to have.
There are some moments in Chapter 4 where they will lock your party to like two characters.
They do that constantly. That's not what I mean. I mean just like a challenge mission where they only let you use one character. You can use any one you want, but you can only use one. And you have to get through the whole mission as that one character.
That'll be fun. They're doing lots of fun things the more they add to it.
Yeah.
So that would be a cool challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they kind of do that with the Hollow Zero stuff because you only start with one, but that's, that very quickly changes.
Yeah. And then you get to the Withered Garden thing, where you have like the extra additional challenges that you can do in Hollow Zero, which is like sort of the Hollow Zero end game sort of thing. And then you do that, and then there's a final mode where it's taking your build from a Hollow Zero thing and seeing how much damage you can do to one boss, which is really fun.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad you liked it. It's a fun game. It's really fun.
I remember you saying a couple times that it doesn't respect your time. I did not get that impression at all. But again,
that means
I'm playing the updated version that does not suck as much.
Yeah, that responded to the complaint of people saying it does not respect your time. So, yeah, I think that
I have
doing
rolled
good
so
things.
much on the fucking current banner. It's like literally every bit of gacha currency that I've gotten, I have rolled on that stupid fucking banner.
So, you going for Caesar then?
Yeah.
Caesar's great. Like, really fun to use. But more importantly, when you use Caesar's abilities, you can get essentially an extra life bar that is just... It's not even shield like other characters have. It's just literally an extra life bar that cannot be... Like, if it's depleted, like, say you have, like, 10% shield left and you get for an attack that would normally, like, deal 50% of that shield because it's a huge, heavy attack, it won't carry over into your life. It'll just deplete the extra life bar. Plus, while you have that buff up, you get a huge bonus to your attack. So, super fun to use. I use Jane Doe, Caesar, and Qingyi.
God, Qingyi's great. I wish I had her. Because I'm running a fucking electric team, and she would be so fucking great.
Oh yeah, she's so fun.
Is she a S rank or A rank?
S rank, stun. So
That would be why she's so much better than Emby. That makes sense.
yeah, no, she's great. Jane Doe was the one I went the hardest on, and I got her. Yeah, no phrasing, but I got 2 copies of her, so she's pretty strong. It's like I'm building everything around her.
Yeah, I got 2 copies of Rena, and then just maxed out Anton. So it's like, okay, I guess I'm doing electric team now. So
I have gotten at this point like 3 copies of Lycon.
I'm jealous. He's cool as hell.
He's so cool. He's so cool. Genuinely, really like him as a character and having him around. He really ties the whole Victoria housekeeping together.
Yeah, I'm not character wise. I'm not a big fan of Rena, but I haven't done her side story yet, so maybe she is more interesting through that. But
Yeah, I haven't done her side story yet either, so I can't even comment on that.
yeah, people really like Ellen for some reason.
I was kind of like lukewarm on Ellen at first, but then you can see she has so many different interactions and trust events in the city.
Yeah, I did run into her really fucking early because she's just hanging out on 6th Street a lot.
And
It's like-
so I did, because I started playing when Ellen was on banner, and I got Ellen. And I got to really start to actually like her a lot. It takes time to warm up to her.
Yeah, because she's kind of in the same vein as Anby of just like a very low key, very slow, slow speaking, slow acting, not really just very dynamic character at all. And you've got to just kind of let them unfold over time. That's the kind of character that does take time to get into.
And because she's limited, it's going to be hard to do that, you know?
Is she?
Yeah. Ellen is a limited S rank.
I thought she was A. Oh,
No, Ellen was the first limited 5-star S rank.
wow. Okay. So it's Ellen,
Ellen,
Jiwen,
Juyan,
and
Xingyi, Jane, Caesar, and then Bernice.
Chingy is limited as well.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then Lighter is going to be upcoming as well as a
Yeah,
limited.
yeah, that fucking dude. Okay.
I saw his animations from some things floating around the internet that are unofficial leaks, obviously, but uh, he looks like the most fun to play. It's kind of insane. Um, and he's gonna be the first limited uh, male agent.
I have seen him twice in the city. He looks like a tool.
He's actually really funny.
Okay.
Like, hold on, let me put this in. I'll put this in here so if you want to see what I was talking about in terms of the animations. But
Okay,
um,
bear with me. I'm gonna have to fucking mute this. And there we go. Okay, muted.
he's he acts really cool, but then there's times in which it will slightly backfire. So he's really funny.
Okay. Yeah, I saw him at the fucking toy shop and talking to that one girl who only has one joke, unfortunately. And it's just like, okay, you don't know what's really happening. That's funny once. Well, not really funny once, but and him
Well,
just kind of being like, yeah, toys, whatever. I don't care. I don't really want to play along with this bullshit. Okay, very,
yeah,
very, very punchy, kind of
he and
funny
Billy
style.
are bros. So
I don't immediately like someone because they're friends with someone cool. That might just mean they're the less cool friend,
now, it,
like you.
I the, hmm.
I'm very joking. I'm sorry. The moment was there and I couldn't let it pass by. Anyway, sorry. You were saying.
I was going to say that the entire Sons of Caledon squad is like I love every single one of them. They're all great.
Okay.
So looking forward to you getting into the next chapter. So is that anything else you want to say on ZZZ?
Like the arcade. I like that it
Oh
exists at
yeah.
all. That's actually a really cool little thing that is
They
just
just
kind of
added
there.
the Vampire Survivor alike.
Yeah, I did that event. That was cute.
Tells me they're gonna keep adding more games to it, and I appreciate that. I like those. They're fun.
I'm wondering if they're actually going to edit that game to add another character like it says in the event.
Probably. If you, there's a if you like, I get the feeling that like they're not just gonna leave the arcade to the side. They like the arcade. They clearly like it. They keep adding on to it.
Yeah, I like the arcade. The fucking
Yeah.
uh, what the fuck is the thing? The game that they're aping for the dog game. Shit, it's an old arcade game and I can't remember what it is. Mr. Driller might be. I don't know.
Maybe. It's very fun.
Yeah. I like that game. I mean, Snake is Snake, but it's still there was a reason that was cool when they put it on every like Nokia 3310 or whatever it was. Uh, it's a fun game still, even if it's really simple. And the Vampire Survivor.
That one's dangerous in terms of time.
I'm,
Like,
it's very clearly a very inferior version of not even vampire. It's a very inferior version of Hollow Cure. It's not even Vampire Survivors. But like that was a pain to finish that event because it's so very RNG and it hurts. But yeah, yeah.
anything else you do?
I don't think so. Yeah, no, I got nothing else. on that
I
game
have
or any other. Really, that's pretty much all I got.
a couple pieces of media I want to talk about, and then I have a story.
Okay.
But the first piece of media I want to talk about is I went to see a movie um, called Joker something 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 do.
Okay.
I went and I saw the uh, ye old Joker movie, and I gotta say, ugh,
I have not seen it. The only thing I have heard about it is that it is basically a refutation of the first movie because too many people who are sometimes unpleasant and have disenfranchised people, let's say, too many of those attached to it too strongly, and they don't like that.
when I got out of the theater, I felt weird.
Mm.
Like I'm like, this is a strange movie. It is very. My dad said that he liked most of the movie, but the ending kind of ruined it. I think that's gonna be most people's opinion, is that it has a very poor ending. But I think that it just kind of tries to make a hard turn in terms of what it wants to be.
Mm.
And it doesn't even make a hard enough turn. Like it doesn't fully commit.
Mm.
There's a lot of it trying to be several things at once, including musical. Right? There's several musical numbers. They have Lady Gaga playing as the Harley Quinn, right? And boy, is she a dry Harley Quinn.
In fairness, the idea is it's a dry Joker as well, but
Yeah, yeah, but it makes their I don't know. It makes their dynamic like it could be better, right? There's a lot of room for areas where like, oh man, like, well, this could have been better, that could have been better, this could have been better. And I think that if they had gone with a different, like even just changing the ending slightly would have been enough for people to uh, be okay with this movie. But it's currently tanking like nothing else. It's actually tanking exactly like Morbius is what I was
yeah.
saying.
I'm just trying to figure out how you would even do a Harley Quinn with this particular Joker. Like, the entire conceit of Harley Quinn is the Joker drags her down and makes her just like him and turns her into a punching bag, basically.
See, in this one, the dynamic is the reverse. She's trying to drag him down further to being the Joker forever.
That's weird.
It is.
In fairness, doing something weird and nonsensical with Harley Quinn is just kind of what people do now because they don't want to do the actual character for Harley
So
Quinn.
their take on Harley Quinn is that she is a huge, huge fan of Joker. Saw what he did on national TV. There was a in universe. There was a movie made about Joker, and she watched it several times and is obsessed with him.
Ah, I see now where the criticisms of it being a refutation of the people who like the first movie comes from now.
So yeah, and the writing of what's his name, Arthur Fleck, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
The writing of Arthur Fleck is inconsistent with the first movie. It's straight up not consistent at all. Like there's some things that you can see, okay, that makes sense. Okay, there's that. Um, but they try to go at it from the angle of I don't know if this is spoilers or whatever. I don't care that much, but I'm gonna talk about some stuff a little bit more openly. Just not even going into specific events, but specific writing choices they made.
Okay.
So if you care about that, you can skip ahead a little bit. But they try to make it so no, no, no. Arthur Fleck is not seriously mentally ill or anything. This Joker thing is all just a made up persona that he's making for attention and stuff.
That's a choice.
And yeah, it is a choice that they stick to, and it undermines the last movie in the way that they do it. Because his whole thing was he's somebody that the system had failed, right?
Yep. pretty much.
Um, but this time they decide no, it's not the system that's necessarily the worst thing. It's mainly him.
Yeah, he's just a whiny little bitch who needs to get his shit together. It's not society's fault. It's just this one guy is being a piece of shit. That way we don't have to examine any of society's flaws. Isn't that convenient?
And it's a turn they take more than halfway through the movie. As for the majority of it, you can see the system's still screwed up. The system's still beating him down and pushing him to his limits again and again and again until you think, oh man, he's gonna snap, Joker's gonna come out, like. But then they take this twist of like, no, it's his fault. Joker's not real. He's just some delusional nobody.
He's just a bad person. Let's not examine how and why. He just is. It's easier that way.
And you can see why that sort of decision would cause this movie to tank.
Yeah.
Because they're backtracking.
Yeah.
They're like taking steps back and being like,
oh no. The thing that you liked about the first, that's not that. You shouldn't like that. You should like this one instead.
you're actually wrong for liking that thing, by the way. Here's characters that are multiple characters that are kind of like you for liking the last movie, and you're wrong. You're bad. And I haven't seen this level of like hatred towards a previous film since since the Star Wars sequel movies, where it was it episode 8 that was like, let's just backtrack.
Yeah. 8 being like, hey, all that stuff was stupid and I don't care about it, so fuck it, I'm gonna do something entirely different because I don't care.
Yes. And also it's a musical.
And also, it's a musical, yes. Because you know how great musicals do in the cinema.
And 90% of the movie is spent in prison.
Is it the same director?
Yes.
Huh. Weird.
Um,
You don't usually expect to see that. Like, hey, I'm going to make this movie, and it's going to be a unique and interesting take on an established thing that examines how someone could end up being this way. And it's going to be a criticism on some of society's ills and how we treat people that are not doing well. And we're going to explore that. And, oh wow, it looks like people really like that and resonated with that thing of people being treated like shit and getting shit on by systems that don't really work in their favor, and they feel trapped and alone and isolated and act out in horrible, horrible ways because of that. I don't really like that all of these people that are not good people are liking this movie I made about how they have it rough. These are bad people, though. Not good people. So I'm going to say that the message I wrote in the... Well, maybe not wrote. Maybe it's not the same writer. I put in the first one. I'm just going to say that was wrong. I was totally wrong. I'm sorry. All these people are just bad. All these people that agree with the thing that I said previously, yeah, they're just fucked up. Fuck them. Like, that's such a weird turn.
without going into the specifics of the quotes from this interview, the director said, he realized everything was so corrupt, it's not going to change, so the only way to fix it is to burn it down. And then when he talks about the second movie, he's like, oh, well, he realized that what he's doing is not going to change anything. So...
eat shit, I guess, is the message of Joker 2.
Yeah, basically.
Thanks.
LOL, can't fix it.
Thanks, billion-dollar company and probably millionaire director at this point. Appreciate it. I guess you're on top now, so everything's okay. Cool.
The movie just kind of gives up. And, like, it took me so out of left field that when I left the theater, I was thinking, I can see what they were trying to do, but why? Like, why do this in this movie?
Even from a money making perspective, you would think someone would say, hey, wait, maybe we shouldn't piss off all the people that gave us lots and lots of money for the first movie. like,
Yeah,
business doesn't care about fucking principles. They don't care who likes or doesn't like a movie as long as people are like putting their butts in the seats and paying for tickets.
it's like when they tried to do that Ghostbusters reboot, and they were in all the interviews before that, they were like basically shit talking everybody who liked the original Ghostbusters, and then that movie flopped, and it's like, well, I wonder why. It
Yeah.
like you didn't.
Don't like it, don't buy it. Okay.
Okay,
Fair enough.
sure,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is to not go see that movie.
Fair enough.
Uh, it's just not worth it. If Joker Original is a cinematic masterpiece, at least some people say that, this is in the $5 bin at Walmart.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I would be one of the people that agree with cinematic masterpiece, but it is a very good movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what a follow-up. Um, I did actually touch a piece of media that was good though, and I've been playing it. It's a video game. It's called Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh yeah, the Zelda.
So this is a Zelda game where you are playing as Zelda. Um, and the premise here is these strange rifts are opening up all across Hyrule, and Link gets sucked into one, but not before he manages to defeat Ganon and free Zelda. And Zelda gets out, and now has to deal with the fact that all of these rifts are dragging huge chunks of Hyrule into this empty, dark void. And so, using this Tri Rod that she gets from a spirit named Tri, she's going off to go and fix the rifts and kind of save the world. But also, these rifts can also spawn out dark copies of anything that it consumes. So, at the very, very beginning, the king and his advisors get swallowed up, and then the evil king and evil advisors come out and say, "Hey, Zelda's opening up all the rift guards. Kill her, or capture her and whatever." But she gets captured, gets out of prison, and then has to go while hiding her identity across the lands to uh, save Hyrule. So that's where the whole hood things come in, and she gets Link's hood. It's a really, really good game. Like it's really solidly designed. The main thrust of it is the main sort of gameplay is Zelda can create echoes of objects and creatures, like monsters and such, that she encounters in the world. And there's a cost associated with each of those things, and how you manage your resources in terms of what you can keep out at the same time is what allows you to solve various puzzles and things, as well as what objects you have like the ability to use, which results in some really, really fun unintended solutions and intended solutions that you can come across. Uh, Say, for example, there's these, you have to get up this ledge, and there's a few different ways you could try to do this. You can try to just make a bunch of little stools that you can jump across, making a little mountain of them that you can climb on. You can use a trampoline. You can use a flying tile, which is a Zelda 2D enemy, which it's literally just a tile that rises up and then flies off towards you. But in this, it still rises up, so you can stand on it and get a little bit of extra height, and then it flies off in the direction of wherever you are summoning it. So you can have a huge amount of horizontal flying momentum that you can use, which is extremely useful. You can also summon a spider and then link yourself to that spider so that your character is dragged along with its movements. So that spider climbs up the wall and you go with it. So many different solutions to one problem. And I love it. I absolutely love it. The writing is super fun and cute. The design of having that like Link's Awakening remake style toy-like design is super cute. They have a crafting system, sort of like a light crafting system of combining some materials to make smoothies and potions. that you use to, heal yourself or buff yourself. And you can also get some of the lost weapons of Link and then briefly turn into a Link-like form where you get access to the sword and the bow and the bombs and stuff. But that's on a timer. It has a meter that depletes. And so it ultimately ends up being a very fun experience of being like, okay, well, this room's just full of monsters. I'm just going to go into Link mode for a bit and destroy them. And you can also be like, well, I've upgraded my cost. I've upgraded my ability to summon things. I'm just going to summon like 5 moblins. And I'm just going to have my own little military here going on. And then you unlock like stronger versions of enemies that have like their own stronger, like more costly versions of echoes. I just got the level 3 Dark Nut, which is like in this gleaming white and gold armor and it's just the destroyer of everything that I throw it in front of. But obviously it's ground bound, and so against flying enemies it can't jump, so you have to figure out things like that. It's a really good game.
Hmm.
The puzzling, the dungeons, the bosses, and how you have to deal with them, and be a summoner to handle everything. It's just super fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Uh, I would recommend it to basically everyone, just because it's a super fun game. And yeah, I'm not done with it. I hit a major turning point in the story that I really like, and I like that they're continuing to challenge and change like conventions of the Zelda series, because boy oh boy has tradition been one of the things that has held the series back, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it
Up
has to be
to
this
Breath
way.
of the Wild, it was kind of very formula and stuff.
And this is a break from formula for the 2D games, which is great. So honestly, if they make more games like this, I will continue to buy them because it's just so fun. And as for my story, so Friday I had a pretty rough day. I woke up at like 2 a.m. I got 3 hours of sleep with like horrible indigestion, right? And I could not go back to sleep. I'm like, well, okay, this is fine. This is fine. Um, I I'm like, okay, let me put on some clothes. I put on some black clothes that I need to do laundry, so it's what I got. We go out. I go, teach for the day. It's a short day. Fridays are short days. Kids are having a rough time of it, rough day, but ultimately it was pretty good. Uh, then I go through like 3 rounds of meetings. Staff meeting, a small group meeting of the grade levels of like 4 through 6, and then another meeting of just the fourth grade teachers meeting together and talking about what we're going to be doing for stuff, because we got uh, parent teacher conferences coming up, and so we have to get everything organized with that, get report cards start getting made, stuff like that. And by the time I'm finally able to like leave, it's like 4 o'clock, 4:30 ish. So I go out to my car and I get in my car and I go to turn it on, and it doesn't turn on.
Hmm.
I hear the clicking. I see a serious malfunction light show up on my dash, and I'm like, "Oh gosh, oh no!" And it's 100 degrees out. I'm wearing all black,
Mm.
and I'm on 3 hours of sleep. Had a very long day, and I'm like, "Okay, I need help." I don't have jumper cables in my car because uh, one of my parents needed to borrow them for something and never gave them back. So, uh, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Parents are busy; they can't come. But uh, my mom knows a teacher who knows the custodian and has her phone number, so she calls her, and custodian calls me. Her name's Janet. She's a very nice lady. It took her like 30 minutes to come because she's already like dropping off her kids and everything because she went to go pick up her kids from their school they go to, and arrives, and we spend about 30 minutes trying to get the car to work through jumper cables. Nothing. Car continues to not start. And again, I'm sweating bullets. It's over 100 degrees out. I'm wearing all black. 3 hours of sleep. And so she's like, offers me to jump in her Jeep, and we drive down to AutoZone. And turns out this custodian, Janet, she's super nice again. And her first job was in auto repair,
Huh.
which is a really funny circumstance to be in, you know. And we're talking and we're chatting and we're like learning, swapping stories and everything. And she takes me into the AutoZone. I'm able to buy an entirely new battery, take it out, take it back to the parking lot with her, and the other facility staff comes on, the other like custodians and stuff. They come on and they bring their tools, and on the spot, change out my old battery for a new battery with tools.
Okay. Wow.
And like they're staying after for this, and I'm just so thankful. Like this was entirely just out of the goodness of their hearts, and I have never quite had the like Persona social link bond established ring in my head as much as that time. Social link established with the custodian crew, I guess.
Yeah.
And what was like a pretty awful day. I'm not getting home till like 6 o'clock at night. And again, been up since 3 a.m. and installed a new battery. Car works. That was it. The battery was just dead, completely dead.
Cool.
And drove home. Had the air conditioning on full blast. Got home, jumped in the pool, and I was ecstatic. Like, there's few things that are quite as like life-giving as just genuine acts of human kindness like that. That like turn it around. Of like, man, people are so awesome. I love people. We can be so good. Like there's so much like nihilism and like depression and like, oh man, people are the worst. But there's just also moments like these that like, yeah, no, humanity's worth saving. We're worth keeping around. So it was a super good turn of like from probably one of my worst days
Yeah.
at this job to one of my best.
So what kind of thank you muffins are you getting? Like,
I,
as a start?
I know. I'm gonna get some like thank you gift cards and everything that I can, but like it's just man, oh man, it's so good. That was I've never had like on spot changing out the battery. Wild. So that was my story. That was my like my big thing that happened. I was like, yeah, I gotta talk about this.
It's pretty good. Very
People
feel
great.
good moment.
Yeah. So that's got me in a good old chipper mood.
Yeah.
And also next week, my loudest kid is going to be out for a week.
Okay.
So I mean, hey, that'll make the job slightly easier. Slightly.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. No, I love the job. I'm teaching fourth graders, teaching 9-year-olds, and building that like establishing a good connection with your students is really important as a teacher, because I mean everybody will remember the teacher that they've really liked, the teacher that was good to them and treated them like people, everybody will also remember the teacher who was the worst to them.
Yeah.
I still remember my second grade teacher because of how awful she was. But I also yeah.
I remember some teachers. I don't remember others as well. I remember my year 5 teacher because she was really nice and talked about Egyptology with me, which was a thing I was into at the time, I guess. And in terms of negatives, oh boy, I remember a PE teacher that really wanted to have his sports movie moment of like, hey, that disabled kid, he's really having a rough go of it, so I'm going to try and contrive some moment where he can be the hero. And oh god, was it miserable every single fucking time. Good intentions, bad outcomes. Anyway.
My second grade teacher forbid my mom from bringing me my glasses when I forgot them because I, quote, needed to learn my lesson.
Well, you're only learning one lesson then, I guess, that day.
And my mom was like, he can't see his lesson. And she also yelled at me, or scolded me, on like the last day of second grade at our little second grade graduation that we did at the school.
Cool.
It's mean. She sent me up to the office and was the one who told my mom that I need to be medicated for ADHD because I talk too much.
I mean, in fairness, you do
So
have ADHD, but also you
I
don't
do
tell
have
someone else's parent.
ADHD.
You don't tell someone else's parent how how to medicate their child. That is not your fucking call. You can say, "Hey,
Yep.
we think he might have ADHD. Maybe you should talk to a doctor." You don't say, "Hey, get this kid on fucking drugs." That's shitty.
My kindergarten teacher, meanwhile, worked after hours tutoring me to help me learn and catch up because I was so behind from having to move from place to place, and was the nicest lady. And actually, I she came to make a home visit one time because I think I was sick, or like I'd gone through my surgery. That might have been when I went through my like tonsil surgery or something. I don't know. But for whatever reason, she came over and I asked her to play Pokemon Stadium with me, and she did.
Oh,
And so that's like a precious memory, right? But you want to be like the teachers that are the best. You don't want to be that mean one that you can tell doesn't like you. Because I like all my students. You know,
yeah.
it's hard not to.
It was, yeah, it was a very. I can't think of any that were just really, really bad in terms of just actively being shitty and not giving a shit. That wasn't my school experience at all. There was one who was very curmudgeonly, but was actually a good teacher, and his heart was in the right place of being kind of a hard ass. And experiences with and comments from him is what basically made me realize, hey, I probably have ADHD.
Hmm.
20 years after the fact, granted, but still. Looking back on that sort of thing, a lot of things lock into place and understanding of why I am and do the things I do, but nobody caught it, and I feel like he tried, was the thing.
Yeah. The thing is, like, for people who have ADHD, it's easy to catch it when like you're falling behind, and it's a reason why you can't complete things, and it's causing a serious negative effect on your life, right? Um, but when you are able to do the work and get stuff done, despite it, it doesn't get recognized.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wasn't. Like, I think I
Ah,
went through my entire first year of high school without doing a homework assignment, without getting told, hey, you didn't do the fucking homework assignment. Get it done. Like, everything was a week late at best, if it ever got done at all, and I didn't just wait for them to stop caring about getting the assignment done. And that went on until this one teacher, he was a math teacher, maths rather, but you're American, so I make accommodations because I'm nice like that.
yeah.
I handed in my workbook, knowing the assignment wasn't done and I hadn't done it, but at this point, that's just how my life is. And he hands it back, and I'll try to remember exactly what he said. Right, it was the classes were ranked in terms of academic ability. I was in the top class because I was quote unquote lazy, but I did know my shit. And he handed the book back with a big fat zero in it because I didn't do the assignment. And he was like, I fought for you to stay in this class. I won't do that again. And from that point on, I sometimes did my assignments. That comment crushed me, but it still didn't get me to do all of my work. And even the ones that I did do, I woke up at 4 in the morning to do it in the 3 hours before I had to get ready for school.
It was in high school where it started to really affect me the most.
Yeah. Like when I was in primary school, which is the years 1 through 6, I asked for more work. Like I was like, oh, this stuff is really
Yeah.
cool and I'm really enjoying it. Can I get some more stuff to do because I'm really having fun with
No,
like the
no,
math
same,
problems and stuff.
same.
Because that's
I
the
was
thing with
literally
ADHD.
that.
If you're
Yeah.
really invested in it and enjoy it, then oh yeah, you'll do all the work in the world. When you stop caring, then that's it. You're not doing it. It's not gonna happen.
I had a teacher, my Spanish teacher, told me that I had the lowest grade in her class that anybody had ever had. And the reason why was because she required me to complete like Spanish reading logs of like go read something in Spanish, go watch something in Spanish, and then write about it. And I cannot for the life of me do that type of assignment.
Mm.
I turned it around, got a B by the end of it, but I never did any of that.
This feel-good moment really turned into a feel-bad moment.
Couldn't. But you know what? I can turn, but because of my experiences having ADHD, I can see it in
Yeah,
other kids.
that's true.
I can see it and I can act with empathy and be like, hey, look, I know this is tough for you. Maybe we can do something else to kind of, get that stim going or
Yeah,
like
get you
give you,
invested.
or get you like away from distractions or do this or that to try to work around it. And you know what? I get the kids to finish their work.
That whole thing
Right?
was so frustrating in hindsight. Like, fuck. All
Yeah.
those problems, all those problems getting my shit done to the point where coursework for my graduating qualifications was just not getting done to the point they had to drag me into like the fucking assembly hall to just sit there and get stuff done because it just wasn't happening otherwise. Me literally just trying desperately to explain why I couldn't get anything done, talking to the head of the, I forget what it was actually called, but the special needs department, because blind as fuck.
Yeah.
Talking to her, desperately trying to figure out how do I explain. I know all of this stuff and I can't get myself to do this. I know it, I understand it, and I don't. It feels. And I remember I used the word tedious, and for some reason, she fucking ripped me a new one as soon as she heard the word tedious. And what that meant to me with full understanding is I know this, I understand this is boring, and that apparently means I just can't get stuff done. To her, that meant I don't give a shit. I'm not interested, I guess. Head of special needs. And she fucking ripped me a new one for basically classic signs of ADHD. She just didn't notice and care. So, yeah, she screamed at me so bad I fucking ran out of the school. Yeah. So.
And it gets to the point where like, am I just the problem? Am I just lazy?
Yeah. That's all you can think of. That's the only explanation that makes sense at that point. Because you want to get the shit done because you have to get the shit done or you're going to fail and everything's going to be worthless and everyone's going to be disappointed in you and you did everything wrong and this is all your fault, but you just can't do it.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
It's incredibly frustrating. And, even for people who, have ADHD and can make it through primary school just fine, can somehow find a way through secondary school, you get to university, you get to college. And then it's like, okay, here's all this stuff that's on you to do. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
That didn't get
Wonderful.
any better in university. I actually had to repeat a year of, it would still be high school by your qualifications, but college for mine, because I failed so many of my high school qualifications.
Well, I was a business major at first
For actual university,
in
so was
college.
I. And I did that for a year, and the assignments got done on the day they were due, which, massive improvement, kind of, I guess, technically.
I I was actually an honors business student,
Mm,
and failed out of the honors program from having a low GPA. I'm not stupid. I just could not get myself to get anything done.
yeah. For university,
I mean,
I managed the first year, and then the second year, I was managing fine for most of it, and then it got towards the second half of the year, and we were given a group assignment. It was a long-term project of it was a marketing class. It was we had to design a product, and there was this whole simulation program of how that product would do on the market, and we had to see how it was doing. And okay, we can tweak and make new products and do all this sort of stuff. It was really cool. Really interesting project for that part of it. The actual write-up, not so much. And it was a team project. I was the only one doing anything. Tale as old as time. That's fucking university for you. I was the only one that gave a shit. And as soon as the cool part was over, I realized I didn't give a shit about any of this. Not just the one project, not just the class. This just wasn't for me. And I don't know whether I should feel bad for leaving those guys holding the bag, because I fucking quit that course right then and there. I dropped out and tried to switch to an English degree, but turns out if you try to switch to a different course after your first year, then you can't get like funding for that anymore.
Well, it's different here because I could switch, and yeah, I did like, I want to say like 2 years of business before I could switch. Well, before I thought to switch, because I could not take it anymore. It was sad. It was so stressful. I was so unhappy.
Yeah.
And then switched to English. Like, I was podcasting the entire time this is happening too.
Yeah.
So like, you can go back and listen to the archives of me just not having a good time of it.
Yeah, this whole thing started 5 years after all my university shenanigans, so
I have it documented, and how happy I was to switch to an English major and everything.
oh god, I was enjoying it so much for the 2 months before they realized, hey, you're not paying us.
But like, even then, like, you get into the master's degree program, and it's like, okay, well, you were invested in the English stuff because you like writing.
Yeah.
Now, I need you to write a 50-page thesis without any personal bias in it.
Yeah. You're not allowed to care about this, Mr. ADHD.
And I'm just like, well, I guess I'm gonna go get that medication now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I guess if there's one thing I can say for my time in high school of people not realizing I had problems, it's that it taught me to manage those problems as best I could, which covered me for most of my university career.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh well. It's all history. Can't really change it now.
Yeah. Makes us who we are, though.
Yeah. Hopefully can help other people figure it out when no one did for you, kind of thing. That's usually the way you have to take it for this sort of thing is, hey, nobody helped. They could have. They just didn't notice or care, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, maybe you're not actually lazy. Maybe it's just you have a problem to deal with that other people don't have to.
Yeah, maybe your brain works a little differently. That's fine. We
And
just
that's
have to work
okay.
around that.
Knowing that is the reason is such a relief, because then you can stop hating yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
So take this as a positive message to everybody out there.
Yeah.
Good chance it's not your fault.
Yeah. Remember when this was the Zenless Zone Zero podcast? And this wasn't a therapy session?
Listen. Zenless Zone Zero is incredibly stimming for people with ADHD. Like, me and Casey can confirm this.
Fucking Christ. I sat in this chair for 8 hours without moving and just fucking... Like, the drink... I poured myself a drink, sat down, and, like, a quarter of it maybe was gone by the time I was getting up and I need to go to bed. Oh, I barely fucking touched this thing. I haven't eaten today. Whoops.
Oh, well.
Guess I'm losing weight a little
life.
bit. That's a plus, I suppose.
All right.
Incidentally, I fucking need this. I need this so badly.
Yes, they're adding it soon.
Are they?
Yes, Batty Boo is going to be added to Zenless Zone Zero soon.
Damn,
And
you know he's going to be a physical focused.
oh yeah.
That doesn't fit my team, but I want him anyway.
Oh, whereas we were talking, I did a single pull on Honkai Star and got Topaz's Light Cone. Let's go.
Those are words that I'm sure mean something significant, and I'm happy for you.
I got the thing that I wanted.
Cool.
Yay.
Also, Ubisoft is getting sold to Tencent. That's basically breaking news, by the way, right now.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Word?
pretty much.
What?
The Guillemot brothers are thinking of basically teaming up with Tencent and taking the company private because their stock price is plummeting. So yeah, that's a thing. Hopefully that means they stop fucking
why.
up.
I wonder why you're in this position.
Can't imagine.
Could anything have been
Couldn't be
done
the
to
six
avoid
fucking
it?
garbage fire games that you released in a row. Well,
Could
in
maybe
fairness,
there
not
be
six
some,
garbage fires, but there was like two, and the rest were mediocre and probably didn't do all that great.
that the people in the higher ups are blaming the audience, not themselves. It's just one day, this world just is not ready for us.
I mean, there's that. There's also the fact that they got the COVID bump, and that means they did some great growing for a little bit. Like, wow, our company is doing so well. Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out at exactly the right time for everyone to be stuck in their homes with nothing to do, so they can spend 90 hours in a shitty, boring Assassin's Creed game about Vikings. Cool. We're just gonna keep growing exactly like this. Oh wait, we didn't, because that was an incredibly specific scenario that benefited our company specifically very much, and now it's gone, so we're just gonna shrink again rather than grow? Oh fuck, that might be a problem, especially if we start releasing a bunch of shitty games.
We might have not planned for this turn of events. Strangely,
Man, if only everyone was stuck in lockdown for another 6 years, we'd be doing so great.
and that's how Ubisoft became responsible for COVID 2.
Oh god.
Electric Boogaloo.
I was trying to come up with a more relevant word than electric, but yes.
It's always going to be relevant.
Have they created like a mission name that has like Bang Boogaloo in it somewhere? I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
I know there is an electric thing.
There is, yes. Technically, there's two of them.
Yeah.
And I have
Huh.
the cooler one, because of course I do. I have an electric team.
So something else I wanted to talk about.
Hmm.
And this is my brain rot. So Shadow Generations is going to be coming out soon.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they have been releasing these Shadow the Hedgehog animated shorts every Friday before launch. There's 3 of them that they're going to be doing. It's so good. It's so good. I feel so seen.
Okay. All right. Maybe tone it down a little bit.
They are actually having writing for Maria as a character. So now people can actually feel sad that Maria perished, and it's not
Oh no, the
just
little white girl got
Shadow
shot. That sucks.
just saying Maria. Yeah, it's nice to see that, like, the actual character that she has and the influence and effect that she has on how Shadow's personality and morals formed. Getting to see that extra stuff, and also we got to see Omega and Rouge again, Team Dark once more, in the second one.
Yeah, I'm okay with not having that personally, but
Omega showing up, shooting the other Eggman robot, saying "Greetings, inferior models."
okay, that's pretty good. Like, the one thing with Omega is that he doesn't have a character, so that's nice to have, like, just writing for him.
And the giant robot shows up, and he changes his arm to a Gatling gun and says, "I call dibs."
Okay. They have fixed Omega. That's good. That's good news.
Omega is at his best when he just hates Eggman and
They're
his robots.
basically
so
writing
much.
him like the Lythero Omega.
The Lythero
Except
Omega
he doesn't keep saying
is
for
based
real
off
bus and
real-
no cap.
No, but, like, here's the thing. Omega's writing, when it's good, is that. In like the IDW comics, in some of the other material, he is at his best when he is, I do not care about the people around me right now, but I do want to kill everything in front of me. He is a robot filled with rage. Just pure rage, and I love it. I love him for it. Really ties together Team Dark. No, but it was nice to get to see these characters again, like seeing the Ark actually be something that's in orbit. Like, they show the moon in the first short, and the moon is still destroyed from Sonic Adventure 2.
Meme.
I,
I'm just going to say meme, and we're going to know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, and we're just going to move on.
the meme's working to the success of this, though, because now everybody remembers that that's a thing that happened.
Right, yeah.
For the longest time, they just kind of ignored it. Oh, you mean we just blasted a chunk out of the moon and that's just never going to be brought up again? We're going to show the full moon just normal? Nah. Nah, not this is canon. This is a thing that happened. We're going to keep showing it now. And the treatment of, hey, everything is canon. Like
Still carrying through
freaking
from
Shadow
Frontiers.
fighting Emerald in the first short.
Oh god, that's a pull.
Yes. Emerald shows up in the first short as escaping the experimental weapons wing of the Ark.
I played that
And
fucking
so,
game. Jesus.
yeah,
Sonic Battle. That's a
yes.
fucking blast from the fucking barely even the past. It barely even existed. Fucking crazy.
In Sonic X Shadow Generations, one of the bosses you're fighting is Mephiles from Sonic 06.
Ah, that's fine. That's a solid pull. Like, they have
Like,
consistently pulled from Sonic 06. That's a thing they have done a lot.
I like that they are pulling things that they have not really pulled before because the Frontiers was such a success. They're like, okay, everything's canon. No more pretending like this is that or this is that or we're
No
going with the
more
continuity.
Sonic
We're gonna
Boom
have
spin-offs where
continuity.
everything is different and makes no sense and
Yeah, we're gonna have the continuity. And turns out fans really like the continuity.
yeah.
Like the stories that they've been telling matter.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't have to be front and center and like you need this bit of lore dump to understand what the story is, but just like acknowledging things that have happened in the past is really nice, just like for people that were there for that. And if people don't get it, then people don't
yeah.
get it.
Then you're like, oh, it's like, oh yeah, no, like Tales and Frontiers is referencing something from Sonic Adventure 1. Well, you don't need to have played that game to understand that Tails had a good moment in Station Square against Eggman, you know?
Yeah. Or Sonic just randomly throwing out, hey, this looks like the waterfall from Mystic Ruins, and people that play, I think that was Sonic Adventure 1, it can be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. That was cool. And people that didn't can be like, oh, yeah, Sonic has gone exploring and been a bunch of places. That makes sense. What are the Mystic
Yeah.
Ruins? That sounds neat.
And then people get intrigued, and then they'll go back,
Maybe. Like, let's
maybe even look
let's
at some of the
let's
old games.
let's not
Maybe,
go
maybe
crazy
it's
with this. This is
yeah.
Sonic Adventure. People aren't going to
Obviously,
go back to
obviously,
Dreamcast games.
yeah. Obviously, it's not a guarantee or anything, right? But I know for a fact that like there's people like my younger brother who, when they get really into a game, they go back and like I want to see what happened in this franchise before.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're only benefiting from including stuff like that in your game, and like having a through line of like Shadow's history because out of all the Sonic characters that were like popular, Shadow's been one that like
Shadow has a story to
they have.
him.
Yeah,
Like
he
he actually
has.
has an established narrative through line that most of the other characters kind of don't have. Like
Yeah,
acknowledging the thing with Tails is a thing they didn't really do before. Like just as events that happened previously in their lives didn't really matter at all, but Shadow, everything that happens to him kind of matters.
his past matters because it's the driving force for everything that he's doing. So having a narrative continued through line for him matters in a way where it's like we have an established timeline for Shadow. We don't really have that for any other Sonic characters.
Yeah, we don't
Even
actually know
Sonic
why Sonic
himself.
is Sonic. We get a little bit on Tails of like, oh, the other foxes bullied him for having two tails and he latched onto Sonic. That's cool. It's not much, but it's something. Sonic, we get nothing. Knuckles, we get fucking he guards the Master Emerald. We don't really know. We get little bits of his ancestry, but not really about him. Yeah. So
And like what how did Sonic go from classic Sonic to modern Sonic? Why are there two Sonics that are so different from each other? You know, it's
I mean, the implication of Generations was that he grew up a little bit. Frankly, is how that works because he gets the homing attack at the end of Sonic Generations. So, you know,
yeah. But it's just being able to have the continuity is really good for the series. It's why part of the reason why I'm like very excited to see what they do with the Sonic 3 movie because this is a Sonic that actually has a connection with a human character and going up against a Shadow. And so there's actually like a narrative comparison that can be made there between the two hedgehogs and their stories, because we can see where this Sonic has come from and compare it to where the Shadow has come from, you know?
Hmm.
And that wasn't really something that you could even do in Sonic Adventure 2.
I'm sorry, were you talking about Sonic 06 just then? I think I blanked out for like 10 seconds and
No,
missed
I was
some
talking
words.
about Sonic. I was talking about the Sonic 3 movie.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. So I was gonna say
Because
like yeah, Sonic character making a connection with a human. Well, Sonic made a
yeah,
connection with a human. I don't think it's a great
I'm
one,
talking
but
his connection with good old Tom the Donut Lord police officer guy,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Is a very strong contrast to Shadow,
yeah,
who was friends with Maria, who got gunned down by a police officer guy, or
yeah.
rather, gun soldiers. But you know what I mean.
Hmm.
It's a it's a pretty good contrast narratively.
Hmm. That said, Sonic doesn't kiss the
So
police officer, does he?
no,
You got to watch out for that. You never know.
you're funny.
Look, look, if you're gonna accept all of the stuff as canon in the series, then you gotta take the good with the bad, and that's just fun. All right.
To be fair, she was the one who initiated.
He didn't have a choice. He was a corpse. Technically, it was
Yeah.
necrophilia and bestiality.
Yes. She's just a freak like that. That's why
Yeah.
they don't call her anymore.
Also, it technically didn't happen because they unwrote the timeline at the end of that game.
Yeah. It technically unhappened, which means nobody remembers who Mephiles is.
That's true. Honestly, for
But
the
he's
original
showing
Sonic
up as a
generations, you should have gone to Crisis City and been like, "What the fuck is this place? I've never been here."
what? Why? Where? Huh? I honestly though for Shadow it'd be like, oh, something else that I forgot. That's not new.
Yeah, giant ruined city. This feels like it's on point for me. Is this my fault? It might have been. I don't know, man. I do a lot of things. Whenever you're doing a shadow impression, it always just starts sounding whispery and quiet and maybe a little gravelly like this. You can't really
They
not do
so
it.
something I wanted to point out about the Shadow Generation shorts is that the voice acting for Shadow is actually really good.
Yeah, it's
And
who is it? I think it's the guy that plays Whis from Dragon Ball. I think.
part of the reason for that is they actually told him who the character is this time.
I'm going to double check that
Like
because
actually,
just to make sure. Thornton is
everyone. Yeah.
yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff now. Oh god, it's going to be hard to find out whether he's who I think he is, but yeah, he is a voice actor that I've heard a lot and does a lot of good work.
Uh, Kirk Thornton has been doing Shadow the Hedgehog for years now. But it was only recently that they actually told him Shadow's backstory. So now he's has a much better grasp on the character, and it's showing the voice acting quality of like actually being much more emotive, which I like.
I might be wrong. Why did I think it was? I don't know. I remember watching the trailer
What?
and it sounded like a different person. So
It's Kirk Thornton.
yeah. I guess yeah. I mean, I guess like you said, it's just a massive difference and upgrade in performance. That's not.
Yeah. Told him the backstory, and there we go. I mean, he's been doing Shadow since like even Sonic Colors before that, I think. But I think Sonic Colors was his first time doing it. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know. Anyway,
Probably the big voice actor change, the last big voice actor change that was Colors, yes.
yeah.
Because that was when they got Roger Craig
Been
Smith
doing so.
to do Sonic. So yeah.
So he's been doing a great job with the voice. The new Rouge voice actor was actually doing a good job as well in the recent short, and so that makes me happy.
Does she no longer
Like,
sound like she's a 50-year-old cougar? Because I would appreciate that if that's changed.
She sounds good. I think she sounds good.
Okay, I have not heard, so have to look into that because that was
Um,
always a really weird and off-putting voice because it sounded like she was 4 decades older than the rest of the cast. And it's just okay.
Yeah, she definitely still sounds like youthful. So there's that. And I never talked about this, but they are doing a DLC thing for Shadow Generations where you can play as the movie version of Shadow with like a more realistic fur voiced by Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I just like throwing in Keanu Reeves.
The PC
What?
version is going to be something special. You know, they are going to mod Shadow to have fucking Johnny Silverhand lines. That is going to be a
It's
thing. They are going to throw it in there, and it's going to be hilarious.
they're gonna model swap Shadow with Keanu Reeves. The best part about Generations is the mods for it were insane. So more of that is gonna be fun. I say best part as if the game itself wasn't good, but the game itself was fantastic. It's just that the mods
Yeah, I
added a little
remember
extra touch to it.
Generations being great. Yeah, all the
Yeah,
just the levels themselves, and then also the extra mini scenario things that were great. They brought that back in Origins, so it was really good.
yeah. I hope they continue to use you know, the full array of characters that they have because Shadow himself has a huge fan base and is a very popular character, and I like Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
Tired of acting like Shadow's cringe. He's not cringe. He's cool, okay?
a little cringe, but there's far worse. Poor
He's
Silver.
cool. Silver.
And the fucking. I wish Silver got another chance. He deserves one.
He did.
I mean, Rivals.
He showed up in
No one fucking played
Rivals, yeah. I did.
You, yeah, like I said, no one played it.
That's what they get for putting it on the PSP.
Yeah, I'm mean today. The fucking Chaotix can. One third of the Chaotix are cool.
Every time the Chaotix show up, I'm just laughing, and it's not laughter that they intend.
Yeah. Charmy is awful. Vector is. I feel like Vector is salvageable. Honestly.
He's so comical.
Yeah.
And Charmy, I've never heard anybody be a fan of Charmy B.
Yeah. Charmy sucks. That's just a fact. It's an annoying character. It doesn't really do anything. Doesn't add anything. Honestly, if it was just a fucking buddy cop thing between Vector and Espio, that would be kind of cool. I'd be into that. Of just this loud, boisterous crocodile and the fucking ninja chameleon, that would be okay. I would be into that buddy cop investigative team.
If you were to like tone down Charmy and just make him guy in the chair, but not like annoying guy in the chair, you could maybe work it, but no.
God, I'm really into that idea
I
now that I've
don't-
said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight man and the funny guy. That's just how that is. It works.
Yeah. Works out. I mean, works out for Sonic and Knuckles.
Eh.
In the movie, it worked out pretty well.
In
But
the
in,
games, if Knuckles is around, Sonic tends to end up being more serious, which
It's a, and then Sonic Boom is like, no, Knuckles is the funny guy, and Sonic is the serious one now, and this is their dynamic now, which Sonic Boom Knuckles is.
fantastic.
Yeah,
That was
words
Travis
cannot
Willingham,
describe
right?
how amazing that one. I think so. Yes,
Because he was voicing him at the
it's
time.
like it was a very different direction, and now that we're like past the point where we can look back on it and be like, that was a fun little era.
Yeah, the show, not the game.
Yeah, the show. The funniest thing in the game is
The game.
using Knuckles to break the game by pausing and jumping, and then having that being referenced in the show when he just flies. uh, on the Sonic Wiki, one of Knuckles' weaknesses is he is shy around girls. So I'd let you know.
That has not played into anything ever.
I know.
His
Took me
main
out.
rival is, granted, not a girl. She's obviously a chain-smoking 40-year-old woman. But, I'm being really mean today. I am. I know. I'm sorry. But like,
Who
yeah,
pissed in your Cheetos?
shyness has not been a thing that he has displayed at any point.
Yeah, no, his first encounter with Rouge is him yelling at her to get away from his emerald.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
Oh,
any instance where that has been true, and it's not.
what did they said reference 73. What are you talking about? Where's your reference for this? What is this for? This is from Sonic Jam on the
I
Sega Saturn.
okay.
Knuckles' profile from that.
Wow.
This is the deepest. I don't think anybody. Look at this. Look at this. This is how we know.
Wow. Wow.
Likes fruit and digging girls. Weak point girls. He's a shy guy.
Why?
Dislikes strong sunshine.
He lives on a tropical island.
I know. I don't know what they were smoking.
Okay. Let's. Did Sonic Jam even release? Isn't that the forgotten Sonic game that was just sort of half finished?
Um, it was released. It was just a compilation of several other Sonic titles, and it had the character profiles on it apparently. Like it was literally just like um Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, 3, and Knuckles. And then you could also get some other things on there if you used the lock-on technology.
Oh god.
But
I might be thinking of something. There was a thing that was like, hey, this is quote unquote Sonic 4. Yeah, it's like a half finished prototype weird thing. I don't know.
yeah, no, Sonic 4 was a thing that they tried to push.
No, like a '90s thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, okay.
like
I'm
yeah,
not sure which one that was.
yeah. I think it was just like something someone had cracked and put on an emulator, and you could you could see what was there, but there wasn't much there because it's a prototype. There's barely enough for a vertical slice, a la an E3 demo or whatever you would call it nowadays.
If Knuckles was 15 in 1997, then that means that he's like in he's like 40 years old now, like 41. You know, the whole Shadow's backstory happening 50 years ago thing is very different now that we're in 2024 instead of like
And Sonic 1
2004.
was 33 years ago.
Because now it's just like, whoa, Shadow, you're from the 70s?
Okay,
Ruby.
see, 70s. There's some things I could say, but I definitely shouldn't. Yep, okay.
So, is that a podcast? I think that's a podcast.
What the fuck did this turn into? I figured we would talk about Zenless Zone Zero and then whatever things you had seen, which was apparently the Joker movie and something else that I've already forgotten. Uh, and then it'd be done, and that'd be it, and it'd be a short episode because there's only two of us. So I was like, no, no. We had a therapy session, and then we talked about Sonic for like 30 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, that's just how it is.
Has the Patreon thing gone through?
Yeah, I can read off some names of some of patrons.
Whoa.
No biggie. So,
No smalls.
no biggie smalls. So, thank you to our patrons that are Jason MacArthur, Ryu Hitzia, Vale, Reek Guy, Ethan F, and the Crossbrain. Thank you very much, everybody.
Woo.
Appreciate you for donating to us on Patreon.
Yeah. Thank you. Uh, Discord link in the description. Patreon link in the description if you feel like it. No pressure. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Remember, Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes.
We're losers.
No, I have a career. I don't know about you.
I would have a career if I could get my fucking head working to fucking write shit. Anyway, bye everybody.
Bye.